Hi everyone, this is Korosh Erfani, and today is Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. We are in the fifth day of the war, starting the sixth day, and we are talking about the war of Israel and the United States against Iran. The war is expanding, and that's why we have to talk about that with some other topics. We knew that this war cannot be limited to Iran, Israel, and the United States, and very soon will be transformed into a regional war, which is the case from the second day. We have had a regional war. And right now it's expanding because till now we have almost 12 countries that are somehow involved in this war. And I'm talking about Iran, Israel, the United States, but also Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Iraq, Lebanon, Yemen, Oman, and of course with some other countries that are coming, like United Kingdom, France, Germany, Cyprus as their basis. Turkey is getting involved, and of course very soon we are going to have the intervention of the other countries in the region, like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, and also even some maybe Central Asia states, because according to a news that we got today, as you can see here, there is the first movement over the Georgia, because over there we have an attack on the Georgian territory, on the Baku-Tbilisi Ceyhan pipeline. This is a pipeline that brings the 30% of Israelis oil source, right? So that's why most probably Iran is trying to damage it in such a way that cannot go through the Baku in Azerbaijan and also Turkey. So we got another news according to which the Azeris here. The Azerbaijan the Republic of Azerbaijan starts to amass, to gather the forces in the borders, in its borders with Iran, and most probably will be involved very soon in this war in a way or another. We should know that in that country there is the government of a crypto Jew, the Aliyov, which is a Jewish, and he has a very good relationships as his father with Israel, with the native country, and they are fully in the service of Israel. And most probably, when they are sure that the Iranian government is weak enough and cannot really defend itself, and they will come in order to occupy, most probably with the Israeli forces, the northern provinces of Iran. I'm talking about the Iranian Azerbaijan, right? So as we can see, now we have a certitude about not only a regional war, right, but the expansion to the Central Asia through the Afghanistan and Pakistan, toward the East Asia, and through Turkey, most probably for Europe, or the Cyprus toward Europe, East Europe, Western Europe, and in this way, as we have already said, the idea of having a global war, we are going to have a really international conflict with the participation of almost all the countries that are interested in a way or another in one of the topics related to this war. We should know that there are many things that start to be linked to this war, right? For example, we thought that it's a matter of Iranian nuclear activity, only that, because for years and years the United States, under the guidance of Israel, was presenting the main cause of this war as the nuclear issue of the Iranian regime, right? Nuclear activity and the probability of getting to nuclear weapon. But now we see that it's not really any matter of that, because there is no such a thing. There is no any nuclear threat by the Iranian regime. There is nuclear activity, most probably civil nuclear activity, but we know that that's a pretext. And this pretext now is put aside completely, and they are talking about the Iranian Navy. So they are trying to completely destroy the Iranian Navy, which was not the case ever before. Another thing is the Iranian missiles, right? So Iran is not supposed to have any missile power, right, or missile fabrication. So another thing is that, and of course the idea of the Iranian regime's links with the paramilitary groups here and there. So now we understand that it's not a matter of anything objective. It's a pure subjective construction with a narrative, and this narrative is elaborated by the Zionists, by Israel, in such a way that they can have a justification for, waging their war in the Middle East, and of course after that beyond. So they are now, step by step, incrementally, really, talking about the real reason why we have this war. Because in accordance with the nature of Zionism, which is a pure fabrication of, the falsified history and completely wrong and insane ideas, now they have to produce day after day some excuse, some justifications in order to say that this war is legitimate. All right. So let me show you the last one, which is really interesting. You must know this guy. This is the famous criminal Lindsey Graham. Right? And here he's talking about the fact that the war that we are going through is a religious war. And he wants to say that we, the Jews and Christian, we have to dominate, and by domination he means annihilation. We have to dominate Islam. Why? Because Islam means jihadism, means radicalism, and so on and so on. So now we can see that the true reason is unmasked, right? Because this is a religious war in the sense that Zionism is a cult, right? Is a fabrication, ideological fabrication to justify any crimes, any wrongdoing that they are doing for thousands and thousands of years, but concretely for the 100 past years, right? So when they are talking about the religious war, they mean the Zionist war. This is what it means. And the Zionist war is a war that is waged by the Zionist network, that is managed by the Zionist network. And this network brings all its mercenaries in this war. For example, today, as you know, we saw that they started to have a vote in Senate, and the Senate actually opposes to any limitation of Trump's power regarding the war with Iran. Why? Because Israel ordered that. Right? Because that's the war of Israel. And of course, a Congress that is 100% in the hands of Israelis won't oppose to do so, right? So that's the idea. The idea is having this war at any price, at any cost. And we are sure about the consequences of that, because with the economic, political, social, environmental fallouts of this war, and in the absence of any rationality, really any decency, we can be sure that they are going extremely deep in this war. They are sinking completely. I am talking about the United States, Israel, the Western countries, the Abrahamic capitalism. So by means of this war, they are getting really to a very bad situation where they don't have anything to do to save themselves but developing this war, waging more and more wars. And at the end of the day, we are going to have the world war, right? And this time, because it cannot be, as opposed to the First and Second World War, this time, contrasted with these two precedent war, we are going to have a nuclear war which will terminate completely the life on Earth. So that's the idea. The idea is the war that has been started just 5 days ago, now it's showing its dimensions, its depth, and its different aspects. And from now on, we can be sure that they are going to, expand this war everywhere, and we are going to have the worst time of the human history in the coming days, weeks, and months, not even years. If they keep really this momentum with this speed, because they are going really with the full speed, right? At full speed, they are trying to hurt humanity. I am pretty sure in the aftermath of such a war, there won't be any living being on Earth. Not human beings or any animals, anything natural cannot be really sustainable in the war. I am talking about the aftermath of the nuclear world war. Now, the reason for this certitude that I have regarding the gloomy, murky, dark future of the humanity is just one thing: that there is no return point, for this entity that we call Zionism. They are set to advance for their agenda, their destructive, anti-human, anti-rational agenda, and they don't have any capability other than that, just enhancing what's necessary for more war, for more killing, for more bombing, for more destruction, and so on and so on. They cannot do anything else. The Zionism cannot act, cannot behave in any other way than that. Now, let's back to the Iranian situation. Today, we have had a very interesting declaration, announcement by Trump, which reveals exactly, and it's showing us what is going on behind the scene. We said that Trump is a puppet, is a Zionist puppet from whom they have extremely bad and unimaginable photos and videos, in the frame of the Epstein file. And that's why he doesn't have anything but obeying 100%, even more than 100%, his Jewish Zionist supremacist masters, right? Stephen Miller, Lutnick, Netanyahu, these are the master of this dog, trained dog, filthy dog, from whom they have all that's necessary to really bring down the Trump empire. Videos and photos that are not imaginable, and Mossad has all of this and can effectively publish them and put an end to the life, not only political life, but literally the life of Donald Trump. So that's why this guy will do whatever at all cost for Israel. We can be sure about that, and I hope that the Americans that are watching this video can imagine that their country is now 100% controlled by Israelis through Trump, by way of this Epstein file and its afterwards. So now, today, Trump came out to say this one. This extremely interesting and important. As you know, the Iranian government is trying to choose a new leader after the death of Khamenei, and we can see here that he is already threatening anyone who wants to replace Khamenei to get killed, right? Hints at killing Iran's next supreme leader, whoever he or most probably he, not she, he is, right? So I would like to develop this point because it's extremely important. It's revealing something, extremely complicated and subtle, but we have to understand that. Till now, they were telling us that Khamenei was bad. Ali Khamenei was a bad supreme leader, as a bad guy, and we had to get rid of him because all these, nastiness of the Iranian regime was coming from that guy, Ali Khamenei. All right, now that he's killed, it must be normal to see someone suggested by the system, the Iranian government, the Iranian regime, to replace it. Because according to the structure of power, they are, in need of a supreme leader that can lead effectively the whole thing. Why Trump is telling us this? He doesn't know who is going to, get this position. They don't have any idea. But he is telling anyone is replacing Khamenei as the next supreme leader will be chased, right? Eliminated. If we want to know why, on the grounds of what Trump is telling us this, we need effectively to understand the Israeli agenda for Iran. We should know for Israel what is at stake, in the aftermath of this total destruction of Iran, militarily speaking. This is what pit Peter Hegseth told us today. He said that in a few days we are going to control completely the Iranian sky, and from that moment we start a few weeks of intense bombing of the country in order to to destroy everything. That's the idea. That's the idea, because they are moving according to a plan. And in order to give you an idea about the plan, let me show you a theoretical aspect, a theoretical framework of what they are using. There is a model that is known as Warden's 5 rings. Maybe you have heard about that. Warden's 5 rings is a theory of military strategic attack where you try to go according, to a step-by-step process. It starts from the center. As you can see, we have the leadership. All right, this is what they try to do, as well for the War of 12 Days, as this time, in the first hours, in the first day, they get rid of the top leaders of the Iranian regime. So the idea is that if we can get rid of the leadership, that would be perfect. This is what they did with Saddam Hussein in Iraq, in Libya with Gaddafi, right? In Syria with Bashar Assad. So once the leadership or the leaders they are not there, it means that the system is in shambles and you can do whatever you want. So in this model, they try to go through first leadership, and from the moment they have that, they have eliminated the leadership, more or less, right? It's maybe never 100%, but for the authoritarian regime, where it's a matter of almost all the powers in the hands of one person. If you get rid of that person, of course, you can put, a huge earthquake to the system. But in the other part, as you can see, the second step is the system essentials. By system essentials, it means what is necessary for the survival of the system. Everything that is organic, that is a key element, for the production, for anything that can assure somehow the survival of the system. So you get rid of that. Like for the Iranian case, it's the nuclear power, nuclear facilities, the missiles, for example, the drones, everything that can, through which regime can survive, can react, can show some signs of life. These are like the essential signs of life. So you get rid of these in order to put an end to the system. So what about the next step? Infrastructure. What is necessary for the whole country? For power, water, energy, food. So you attack them and you destroy the infrastructures, and from that moment the whole country is really in trouble, because they don't have communication, they don't have power, they don't have transport, nothing. If it didn't work, in the fourth step, you come to the population and you try to hit the population, the civil population, the ordinary population, right? The folks that are living in their homes, you bombed them. This is what they did in Gaza. You remember when they couldn't get really to Hamas, they started to create, to destroy everything. First, they tried to make with the leadership, with Haniya and other leaders of Hamas, and then with anything that was necessary for Hamas to act, the essentials and infrastructures. Of course, we saw that they, put in pieces everything over there, and then they came to the population and they killed something between 700 to 800,000 Palestinians over there. So the last one is fielded military. This is the military forces, but in the kind of war we are talking about, the kind of war that is implying this model, this theory, you don't need to attack soldiers, the units, and so on. This is not a classic war. The particularity of the Warden's 5 rings is to go to the core of a system and blow it up. Right? And from the moment you can damage it, then you can get whatever you want. This is what they are doing with the case of Iran. They started with the leadership, and right now they are telling us that because normally a system, in order to survive, it will replace the damaged or the missed leadership, right? The leadership that had been deleted. But what Trump was telling us today is that no, don't think about that. If you try to repair, right, to reconstruct the leadership of your system, we are killing you, we are attacking you, right? We are trying to get rid of your new leader. So this model has a particularity, is that if you can keep the core of this circle, with empty, right, then you will be able to do the rest. So in order to destroy the system essentials, infrastructure, killing the people, committing genocide, and getting rid of any military forces, etc., you need a system that is without leadership. Why? Because in the absence of the leadership, you will be able to do whatever. A system without leadership means a system that cannot function, that cannot be coordinated, and it cannot defend itself and function normally. Right? So this is what Israel wants to do with Iran. This is exactly the idea. Why? Because they have already tried that where, in Iraq, for example, in Afghanistan, in Libya, in Somalia, in Sudan. What's the particularity, the common and shared particularity of all these cases that I named? They don't have any leadership, right? As long as there is no leadership, the system is so vulnerable that the system can completely disintegrate if you can keep it, without leadership. Because they know that in the absence of leadership, in the absence of management, we can say, you can completely decompose and disintegrate the system. This is what Israel from now on is trying to do through, and by means of who? Its trained dog, the United States. That's why Trump has to say that. doesn't have any clue about leadership, but the Israelis told him, and he's announcing that no, don't look for any new leader because we have to kill him. We saw, all the contradictory statements and announcements of the clowns of Washington, Hexed, Rubio, Trump, during the day 1, 2, 3 show that there is no strategy. The United States doesn't have any strategy. If there is anything that we can call a strategy, it would be only and only for by Israelis, by the Zionists, and dictated to the United States. So these are these guys, Trump, Hexed, Rubio, and all the Americans are just executives. They don't have any role for making decisions. The decisions are taken by those who can push. A few hours ago, the Senate, the American Senate, to vote against the American national interest. Right? The senators are, the mercenaries of the Zionists. They are just the employees. And we don't have to believe in this joke of democracy, elections, and the things like that. Now, what's the plan of Israel for Iran? It's very clear. We can call that by whatever we want, but it's a matter of Balkanization. Israel wants to imply the model of Yugoslavia, for the Iranian case. For sure. What was the model over there? What's the Balkanization? Getting a big country, separating the different parts, fostering separatism, ethnic, cultural, religious separatism, and bring them, apart. Bring them away from each other in such a way that we have a partition of the country. This is what Israel was doing, for, let's say, more than half a century. Because you can find the first contact between Mossad, between Israel and the Iranian Kurds, not only the Iranians, the Kurds in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Turkey, in Syria, in the 1950s. In the 50s, you can find the first contact, which means just a few years after even establishing this Zionist occupied fake entity that we call Israel. Right? From that moment, Israelis started to use, the Kurds, because they knew that there is potential for that, in order to put pressure on all the governments of the region. Iraqi government, Saddam Hussein later, then Turkey, Iran. So the Kurds had been used and abused several times and for several decades by Israel. So this is not something new. It goes to, 60, 70 years ago. And I told you in my previous videos, one of the reasons they can do that, it's because there are a portion of the Jews among the Kurds, right? And they use these Jewish Kurds to have a huge influence over there, because they are the people who have money, influence, contact, and everything. So the Balkanization is going to start from Kurdistan. So that's why they started to to arm them, to give them the weaponries, the arms, munition, and everything, and information. They are coordinating with the government of the Iraqi Kurdistan, and most probably they are getting ready for a huge operation, military operation, by these armed Kurdish groups under the commandment of Israel and with the support of the United States. As you can see here, the United States, the Army, CIA started to hire the people who know the Kurdish language, the specific Kurdish of the Iranian Kurdistan, Surani Kurdish. They are looking for the people who can, act as translator, interpreter, interpret, and so on over there. Now, what's interesting is that the statement of Trump that we are going to kill any replacement for the supreme leader is as easy as that. We don't want to see any structured organization at the top of the political structure in Iran. In other terms, we don't want any political structure in Iran, right? So how we can translate that? You remember they were telling us for years that the United States is trying to attempt a regime change in Iran, right? Regime change means getting someone out of power and putting someone there instead. So now we don't have any idea about the regime change. They don't talk about that anymore. Suddenly, Trump, Rubio, Hexet, other American officials, nobody miraculously is talking about regime change anymore. Disappeared completely from the narrative of the American government, American officials regarding what is going to be the future of Iran through this war, in the aftermath of this war. So, in light of this absence, this very suspicious absence, we can see how Israel is determining the fate of Iran above any idea that these clowns, these Washington clowns like Trump, Rubio, etc., can have. And the only determining element is Netanyahu and its Zionist circle. Regarding what? With regard to the future of Iran. What's this future? What kind of future Israel wants for Iran? I am telling you, it's not anything but regime obliteration. Regime obliteration. They want to obliterate completely anything that is called Iranian regime. Not that that regime that we know, the Islamic regime, the clerics. No, I am talking about obliterating any possibility for establishing any kind of political regime in Iran. Now you understand that regime change was for decades, for 40 years, 50 years, in the language and the narrative of the Americans, and suddenly it disappears. And why? The question is why? The answer is very simple. Because from now on, is not anymore a matter of regime change, but a matter of making any regime change impossible. Listen to it. They don't want regime change. They don't want to make regime change impossible. So imagine that they are destroying the current regime, right? The government is getting more and more completely decomposed, weaker and weaker, right? At a given moment, you won't find any objective material trace of what we call Iranian regime, right? And at the same time, you can see that there is no any replacement, there is no any alternative for. That's the idea of Israel. So that's why Israel was using another clown, Reza Pahlavi, in order, to create such a dirty chaos among the Iranian opposition, at least outside Iran, that nobody can really unite to bring about a real serious alternative for the regime. Reza Pahlavi has just the role as a Mossad agent, has the role of sabotaging, everything, so that nobody can really gather in order to create something that can replace the Iranian regime. So the reason why Trump is talking about killing the next leader is that because Israel doesn't want any leadership for the Iran. It's not a matter of this or that person as leader that the United States dislikes, for example. No, it's not a matter of that. Everything is set for the purpose of Israel for Iran, which is disintegration, which is dismantlement of an entity that we can call Iran. So how we can formulate it? Very simple. Any country to be taken seriously on the international scene and according to international law needs to be a nation state, right? A population living in a defined territory with a government that can control all that territory. This is what we call nation state in political science, right? So now imagine, based on the model, on the grounds of what we saw already in Libya, in Syria, in Sudan, in Somalia, you remove one part, one component of this dyad, right? This combination. Nation state become nation without a state. It's as easy as that. That model has been established to do so. Attacking first the leadership means preparing a country to get used of not having any structure that can be considered as government, regime, governance, or whatsoever. No leadership. So the idea of or the purpose of Israel for Iran is this one: a stateless country, a stateless Iran. So everything is set. Pay attention, because we can see right now that when they are attacking the different parts of Iran, it's not a matter of nuclear or even missiles, right? Of course, they attack them also, but you can see that they are destroying the governmental buildings, any kinds of governmental buildings, in order to make the governance impossible. Once you cannot really have the material possibility, once you don't have anything at your disposal, right, to exercise authority or your power, so you are powerless. You don't have any means through which you can exercise your will or your determination. So you are done. There is no more anything material that can underpin your political authority. Whatever is your name, government, state, regime, system, or when you cannot really have the logistic, the system essentials, right, in that model. When you don't have the system essentials to exercise your power, you are powerless. So the idea of Israel is as simple as that. If we can get rid of the Iranian regime and then bring the country, the whole country, in a total chaos, we are going to have a chaotic, failed state. That's the idea. That's the concept. Chaotic, failed state. Chaotic because nothing functions normally in the country anymore at that stage. Failed because the government doesn't have anything that can really act. So we are going to chaotic, failed government, the chaotic, failed state. You remember the concept of the failed state? So in the step or stage that it is getting to be exercised, to be materialized, there is a huge chaos. And because the government cannot really handle this chaos, cannot put an end to this chaos across the country, it is considered as failed state because it fails to control and handle and cope with this chaos. So how Israel can get there? That's the idea. How Israel can go to this specific step through fragmentation is as easy as that. And the fragmentation means that we have to create a situation in which every part of the country will be under control of, a group, an entity, an organization, ethnic groups, religious group, local groups. Fragmentation, partition, putting the whole country in partition. So that's why, as I told you right now, if you pay attention to the pattern of strikes that are carried out by the United States and its master Israel, is destroying and obliterating the system essentials and infrastructure. They had told us that this operation will take a few hours. You remember they said that, Iranian regime needs just a few hours of attack. Then they said maybe a few days. Then Trump said maybe a week or two. Today Hegseth was talking about maybe 8 weeks. And attention, he said that in the week 1, we are getting the control of the Iranian sky, and for the rest, which means 7 weeks, imagine, 7 weeks, we are going to bomb and to destroy everything. So at the end of 8 weeks or more, whatever is necessary, on the basis of the models that we have, I am talking about the theoretical model here and the real cases of Gaza, the West Bank, Lebanon, Syria, Libya, we know that Iran will be completely destroyed, put in pieces. We can be sure about that. And, of course, without any central power, without any central government. And I am telling you, the investment, the huge investment of Israel and the United States on the Kurdish organizations is because they don't have the Kurdish organization, the Kurdish political parties, they don't have any sense of national coherence. They showed this lack of political intelligence in Syria, right? In Syria, they did exactly the same thing, allying with the United States against the others, Shia, Sunni government, and so on, and the result was the fragmentation of Syria. Same thing by the Iraqi Kurdish, an alliance with the United States, right? And then we saw that they made a referendum and they voted for separation with more than 95% of the people who voted for, and because of the possibility of a new civil war, right? They put it aside for the moment. So we know that the Kurdish has this, the Kurdish organizations, the Kurdish political body has this deficiency of understanding how they are used and abused, how they are played completely by Israelis, by the Americans. And here the Iranian Kurdish organizations are repeating the same error, the same mistake again and again and again. And they have this experience with Saddam Hussein, even when they try to be an ally of Saddam Hussein, the Iranian Kurds, against the Iranian regime, and they saw that Saddam at a given moment, left them, and they had been massacred. So that's the idea. The idea is to use these people to trigger the process of partition and fragmentation of Iran. Because once the Kurdish forces start to attack Iran, a part of the military forces of the Iranian regime must be dedicated to that, which means that it will be even weaker compared to right now. And as there would be a support, the military support by the United States, by Israel, most probably even by the Barzani government in the Iraqi Kurdistan, most probably they can effectively conquer a part of Iran, which would include a part of the West Azerbaijan province in Iran, the total of the Kurdistan province in Iran, and most probably a part of the Kermanshah, another adjacent province. So a part of the northwest of Iran will be under domination of these Kurdish forces, and Israel will install there. Israel will be there, the United States will be there, and of course we can be sure about the same thing in other parts of Iran, as I explained it in my previous videos, right? In northeast, southeast, in the southern Iran, everywhere, and also the Azeris with this news that we have. I told you that the Azerbaijan government is gathering a lot of military forces in the borders. It shows that the order has come from its master Israel in order to be ready to act if Tel Aviv wants this. So let me conclude. What Israel is setting as the future for Iran is an Iran without central government, a stateless Iran. Don't forget that uh, an important part of the fresh water in Iran is coming from that area that Israel wants to conquer, okay, and wants to occupy by means of the Kurdish forces from the northwest. We have a flow of water, the fresh water that came to the central basin, and in the central basin you have the huge provinces like the Isfahan provinces, Yazd province, and also the Markazi province. So from the moment Israel can control the water sources over there, it means that a great part of Iran could be completely, in shortage of water. This is what they did with Jordan, over the West Bank. This is what Israel wants to do with the whole Middle East, because water is the new gold, the new oil, right, of the 21st century. Controlling the water source, it means controlling the life of a country. And this is what Israel is planning to do with the Kurdish forces. So, a stateless Iran with the total partition, total fragmentation, means that Iran won't be any more a nation state for coming decades or centuries. So there would be only the little local state devoid of any real power, and Israel can control them. The United States can, attach them to its plans for the Middle East and so on. So that's the reason, on the grounds of what I said, we must be attentive about this model and its application in Iran, because this is what they want to do also with Pakistan, Israel. Israel wants to do it with Pakistan in order to disarm Pakistan with its nuclear arm. This is what Israel wants to do with Turkey. At least it imagines that. We don't know if they can or not, but they are planning for that. And I am pretty sure that the difference between what they are planning on the paper, right, and the reality that is getting shape in the region and on the ground, there is a discrepancy. From now on, from the day 5th of this war, we can see that there is a serious discrepancy between the reality and what they are planning or desiring as wishful thinking of the Zionists and their puppet, the United States. So this discrepancy can cause serious conflict, and I'm pretty sure that if during these conflicts there is a paradigm shift, there is a change of the power balance, what would be at risk seriously, what would be in the balance, would be the future of Zionism, the future of Israel. As, for example, the analyst like the Colonel McGregor is talking about the possibility of vanishing Israel by itself. He says that Israel is preparing its own disappearance, its own destruction. I think there would be a possibility for that. Why? Because they are so aggressive, so irrational, so immoral, unethical in whatever they are doing, that they are creating the context for a huge backlash, right? A huge popular reaction by all the nations of the region, pushing their governments to face the reality that Zionism, Israel, is there to destroy all of them. So they have to do something. All the governments in the region, Pakistan with its atomic bomb, Turkey with all its very powerful army, and the Arab countries at a given moment when they see the nastiness of this Zionist entity and its extremely destructive and dangerous plans and agenda for the future, I am pretty sure they won't have any choice but coming really to a fight in order to put an end to this risk. And the United States won't be able at that time, because we are talking about a time where the United States will be itself in a huge turmoil, inside the United States. And I'm talking about the civil war. At a given moment, the people are saying that. At a given moment, between the Third World War and Civil War, the United States has to choose one of them. It's so serious. So that's why we have to follow up everything that's going on and try to understand the meaning of all the events and the developments. And this is what I am trying to do. That's why our videos now is a little longer than before, but it's necessary to say that and to think about that and to spread the word out. Right? That's why I ask you, if you find a degree of accordance or agreement with what I said, try please to spread this word out here and there, share these videos, and discuss about the topics with other people so that we can have a collective consciousness and do something for saving our planet, which is really at risk and in danger. Thank you very much for watching this video.